GWATA TV gives you a first look at North Central Washington's business news. You'll hear from our local business, tech, and education companies as Jenny discusses hot topics and current events with some of the best innovators and pioneers in North Central Washington.
Hello, North Central Washington. Welcome to GWATA TV. I'm your host, Jenny Rojnasatian, and on today's episode of GWATA TV, we have two special guests with us. We have Charlie Voris of Vortex Production and Shiloh Shower of the Wenatchee Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to GWATA TV.
Thank you.
All right. First of all, did I pronounce your name right, Charlie? Did I make it?
Yes. Yeah, Voris.
Okay, perfect. Coming from Rojnasatian. You know, I understand the plight of a complex name.
I've attempted yours a few times, and I can't say it.
It's okay.
I'm working on it.
It's okay. You don't have to on my show. Well, let's start off for the audience and just tell a little bit about each of your organizations. So, Charlie, I'll start with you. What is Vortex Productions?
So we are a production company. We make video, promotional videos, documentaries, commercials, short films, music videos occasionally. We work pretty extensively here in the Valley, but we also work for a lot of clients across the state as well.
And how long have you, when did you start Vortex Productions?
I registered Vortex Productions in 2004.
Okay.
But I worked freelance for a good 8 or 9 years. But then in 2013, I resigned from my teaching position at Wenatchee Valley Tech, and I went full-time and brought on a couple employees, and I've been full-time with Vortex Productions ever since. And
we're going to talk a little bit about the growth and what you've done with Vortex in today's episodes. But before we get there, I'll let Shiloh introduce herself a little bit.
Thank you.
The Chamber's been around for a few years.
115.
Okay, right.
Not always the Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce. We started as the Wenatchee Commercial Club, and then what was the Wenatchee Chamber of Commerce, and then the Wenatchee and East Wenatchee Chambers of Commerce merged in 2000. So we've been the Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce for about 18 years.
And since you've taken over the helm, your team has really grown. You're now in a beautiful new location, you've got a great staff, and you're serving more and more businesses.
So I started in 2013, and at that time we had 2.5 employees, and now we're up to 8 employees. We've relocated 4 times in my 5 years, but we are permanently located now on Wenatchee Avenue in the corner of 2nd and Wenatchee Ave in a beautiful facility. We're unique in that we also provide destination marketing services, so visitor services, but we have a wine tasting and beer tasting and cider tasting experience connected to the Chamber, which we're one of 2 organizations like ours in the state to do that. So we're pretty different, cutting edge maybe a little bit, or glutton for punishment, I'm not sure which.
Well, I think cutting edge is definitely accurate, and I want to thank you both for being here, introducing yourselves. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, but when we get back, we're going to talk about the kind of cutting edge videos, the We Are Wenatchee series, how that started, and the relationship between Vortex, the Chamber, and what that's done for our community. So stay tuned, it's going to be a great episode. Welcome back to GWATA TV. I'm here today with our guests from the Chamber of Commerce and Vortex Productions, Shiloh and Charlie. So thank you for joining us. We talked a little bit about your background before we went to break. Let's now talk about the famous We Are Wenatchee videos, and which, if you're not aware, you should definitely go online and check those out. We're going to play some clips throughout this segment. But let's talk about, when did that work really start? Why did the Chamber decide to put together and work with Vortex on a We Are Wenatchee video?
So in 2013, the community went through a rebranding process, and we hired Arnett and Muldrow to come out and help us create the new Wenatchee tourism brand. And they actually authored the very first script of the We Are Wenatchee video. So we had an opportunity to release the community brand around our banquet in 2014, and prior to that we got a hold of Charlie, who's recommended to me, to say, hey, we want to make this brand statement come to life. Can you help us? And he did more than help us. He put us on the map. He took what the community had given us about what they loved about this place, what they were proud of about this place, and brought it to life.
And this, when you went out with the script, the We Are Wenatchee video really incorporates a lot of different elements. I mean, I think this was probably a pretty massive project, if I would even jump in to presume myself. You're talking about the geography of our community, the economics, the industries, the people, the culture. So, Charlie, let's talk about your approach. How do you capture one community in a film?
I don't know that I have a perfect answer for that, other than I saw the opportunity as actually a really daunting and quite terrifying approach. But I think one of the things I kind of wanted to maintain in this is just an element of authenticity and an element of truism to the community. And you know, in order to do that, it's just a matter of just being present and looking at, you know, the community in kind of a neutral sort of way. I had grown up in the community, and I kind of had my own maybe perceived idea of what the community was to me, but I wanted to try to find a new approach to that. And through the course of that, I think a lot of stories just began to surface, and from there it was just a matter of like, let's just show this as it is. Let's capture things as they are, and try to be as genuine to each scene as we possibly can. And so I think when in doubt, there was always just an element of, you know, what is true to this actual scene, and as opposed to trying to, you know, distort the visual to try to accomplish something. Instead, it's just a showcase of what's actually here in the valley. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't necessarily have a strategy going in that, you know, this is going to be a successful piece. It's more just, this is a community that's near and dear to me, and I know it is for a lot of other people, and I just want to show it in the best possible way I can. And it really changed a lot of things for me and how I approach production today. It was kind of a success story for me in my approach, which has shaped the way that I make films now.
And when you were talking, we saw some of the imagery on scene. We're very blessed in North Central Washington to have 4 full seasons, to have a variety of outdoor recreation opportunities. So how long did this project take you? I mean, we're not a one climate community where you can go out and film one day and you've captured it.
I think that was actually one of the more, you know, intimidating components to this, is because I think our first conversation was in September or October, and they needed it by, I think it was March.
Yep.
So I had October, November, December, January, February.
Okay.
The least most beautiful part. I think it was October, because the pretty fall colors were gone.
Yeah, it was going into, you know, the least aesthetic time of year for Wenatchee. Luckily, I mean, for the sake of the project, luckily, unluckily in other components, but luckily we had a winter that was not very wintry, and so we were able to still get out there and you know, force the visuals a little bit to look like a season that it maybe wasn't.
Okay.
And then that spring we hit it hard to try to get as much green landscape into it as we could, but that first one was actually on a very tight timeline, and it really should have been probably an entire annual year to showcase it, you know, in a little bit better way. But ultimately, I think it came together with a lot of luck and just being opportunistic.
And it did come together very well. I was at that unveiling at the Chamber of Commerce annual banquet, one of my favorite events to attend in 2014. So Shiloh, was it meant to be a one video and done? Because there's now 3 We Are Wenatchee videos. What was the Chamber's expectation when you unveiled that?
Not what we got. Our expectation was an opportunity to present this new adventure, this new responsibility of the organization to the community back to them. The heart of that script, the heart of that video is there because of the people that make this place what we all know and love about it. Magic happened in the room that night. We actually showed the video twice, because the first time we showed it, people didn't really quite get what was going on. And so we ended the night with it as well, and it instantly, within moments, had 20,000 views. And then it just kept climbing from there. And so what we discovered, though, through the process, as Charlie connected and went out in the community, was there was more of our story to tell, and it became a trilogy. And so we planned to do 2 more after that, which was daunting because the first one is epic. But if you really want to get to know our community, if you really want to see all that is here, the 3, when you watch them back to back, it is inspiring. It is moving. It makes me feel blessed that I get to live here every day. It really does.
And I imagine it was very daunting to take the success of one great video and then to plan out 2 more. There is a slightly different feel with each video. So was that an intention to set each one a little bit apart in terms of the they fit together in a beautiful trilogy, but they also are unique.
Yeah. I think there was maybe a little intention to make sure that they can stand alone as independent pieces, but I think if there was an approach that I wanted to just maintain, was that it's an extension of the first, and it just needs to have, you know, the same production value, the same approach, but just maybe reveal a little bit deeper level to the culture that's here. And through the course of making the first one, there was just a lot of moments where it's like, what a great opportunity this is, but if only we were able to shoot this other scene that just can't happen right now.
Right.
And there were so many doors that kind of opened up through the course of production that I wasn't able to walk through at the time, but through the second and third, it was like, okay, now we can kind of go into this corner of the community and you know, really start to tell a broader story. So I think probably more than anything, instead of trying to outdo the previous video, but to just kind of maintain this similar tone and aesthetic and just let it kind of build on its own. So kind of like not overthinking it while being really immersed in like thinking really hard about it.
Well, that's a secret I don't know yet.
I don't know either, no.
Maybe you can tell more about that in a minute. Well, it's time to head to a commercial break, but when we get back, Charlie and Shiloh, we're going to talk a little bit more about the results of that incredible video series, what the impact has been on our community, so stay tuned. Welcome back to GWATA TV. Today we're diving into the story of the We Are Wenatchee videos with our friends from the Chamber of Commerce and Vortex Productions. Let's get right back into it, since I want to get as much content out to our audience as possible. During the break, we were talking about the evolution of even just the technology from the first We Are Wenatchee video to the third, how your team has grown, and tell us a little bit about behind the scenes, Charlie, what that was like.
Well, I think one of the biggest maybe secrets behind the curtain is that we actually worked with very little gear, especially in the first episode as far as camera equipment. I had a DSLR camera and just a small suite of lenses, and we just kind of made the most out of what we had, which was very little. But one of the things that, especially now that I've worked for a lot of communities and over the last few years, I've seen, you know, just a lot of different projects come together. One of the things that I think is really unique about Wenatchee is the way that people rally around, well, just projects, but most specifically a project like this, where it's like, this is our story and this is who we are. And countless times it was just people, you know, bending over backwards to try to make things come together for the project, what, you know, that would typically be really expensive to try to accomplish in a bigger city. And so by not having a huge suite of gear, we were able to pull resources from a lot of different community members and characters in the story that were, you know, there to support us to make sure that the project comes together. And so utilizing the technology that we did have to its, you know, maximum potential, you know, we were able to work really quickly and efficiently and move, you know, throughout the community and, you know, tell a lot of stories.
And telling this story, right, which is why the Chamber commissioned this project, was to tell that story, to show our how beautiful it is here, really, ultimately, why we love to live, work, and play. Shiloh, tell us about the results of the We Are Wenatchee videos. What's the impact been of Charlie's storytelling and the success of the We Are Wenatchee videos? And, was it what you predicted?
I don't think you could predict what has happened through this experience for our community, honestly. I mean, the hope was what comes from the heart goes to the heart. And so the Chamber was given the task to market this community outside. But if you know our community, you know that our passion, our drive comes from doing things that will benefit our community. And so when you think about tourism, it has to be done even with the community in mind, because this is where we live. And we had more of a values-based tourism approach. We really wanted to capture the values of this place and find people that similarly held those same values and then would fall in love with us and want to steward this community and help this community grow. So it was one part tourism, one part community pride, and one part recruitment. We wanted people to see these videos and go, those are my people, that is my tribe, I want to be there. I didn't know a place like that existed, and that's what's happened. And that's been the most amazing part to me, is meeting the people who have seen these videos and said, I saw that video and I wanted to come live there. And you see things and you go, well, it's not really as great as that, but then they get here and they go, it's better. I mean, you did a phenomenal job, Charlie, making
Yes.
it look amazing.
Yes.
But this place is just inspiring. It's from its natural beauty, but also just from the genuine nature of the people that live here, the genuine caring that comes through. I had someone recently call it the Wenatchee way. And perhaps it is. It's just part of who we are. It's what we're rooted in. And I had no idea. I don't think any of us could have predicted it, how it would impact and draw people to this place, but the right people, the people
Right.
that are like us, that value and care about the same things we do.
And so the recruitment's going well through the We Are Wenatchee video.
Very well. Very, very well.
And I think we have personal stories, too, along that process.
So I showed this video to what would then become my wife, but I met...
He says it's so well,
I know.
that then would become my wife, the most important woman in my life.
Right. I met a very nice gal in Haiti, of all places, and through the course of just talking and learning about where each other were from, I shared this video that I made for my town, and that kind of certainly got the conversation started a little, I don't know, maybe more elaborately about how amazing this place is, and it wasn't long until she decided to relocate from Connecticut to move here, and we're now married and we have a baby girl.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
But We Are Wenatchee, I guess, was kind of my secret weapon.
Right.
And I've also heard countless times throughout the community people that have moved here, and we just kind of talk, and in the course of conversation, they ask what I do, and We Are Wenatchee comes up, and they're like, I saw that video. I moved here because of that video. And I can't say how many times that's happened, a good couple dozen.
I know I have stories, good friends who've moved from the East Coast, looked at job opportunities in this area, and the reason they decided was because they went to the Chamber and they saw the resources the Chamber provided, they saw the resources and the branding that the Chamber's put into showcasing our community, and it was the We Are Wenatchee that pushed that over the edge. And when we look at from a business standpoint, the We Are Wenatchee continues to be a tool
Absolutely.
our employers are using for recruitment, so that we have a pipeline of talented workforce, so that we can bring in new and young companies through things like Flywheel,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And to showcase the region.
What's amazing about this particular experience is we've not marketed it. It's all been through referrals. It's all been through sharing, right? And so the very first video ended up in 108 different countries.
Wow.
108 different countries, right? Because
And each of them with hundreds of views each, not
Yes.
just like little 1 or 2 views.
Yeah.
And
it all started from that ballroom that night. I think to me that's one of the most amazing things is you put 500 people in this community in a room, you give them something that they identify with, they care about, they're proud of, and the reach from that went into
Went
100
worldwide.
Yes,
International.
absolutely.
I think one of the things that's really kind of helped especially that, you know, having it just be called We Are Wenatchee, that when you Google Wenatchee, it is one of the top things that pops up immediately. So it's the first impression that people have across the country about what this place is. One of my crew members, Taylor, she was relocating from Chicago, and she mentioned in her interview, you know, to work with us that, like, you know, I learned how to say Wenatchee from watching this film
There you go.
in Chicago, and that it's just what I didn't intend or what I didn't recognize it was going to become was that it was just going to be the face of Wenatchee, you know, outside of Wenatchee, for, you know, the first impression that people get from anywhere in the world.
And that he captured it so beautifully that when people do arrive here, it's the experience that they actually have.
Right, it's authentic. This wasn't a just glossy, beautiful depiction. It's real. It's
absolutely
it's
real.
the real life stories. And I know we've seen some of those play in the imagery. It's the small business owners like Dustin, who's down, has his business housed out of American Shoe Shop. You can go down on Wenatchee Avenue and
You
see
can meet
him.
the guy. Yep.
Jan Cook Mack, who's an incredible artist,
Yep.
and whose pieces are showcased throughout our community.
These are real people doing really amazing things in this community that makes this place what we treasure and what we love. And you can come and you can be their friend and go have a cocktail with them down at Pybus or wherever. Like, you really can have the Wenatchee experience, which is awesome.
Well, I think one of the things that's happened, a lot of other communities have seen this and essentially hired us to come do similar things. And unfortunately, we don't live there, so time is of the essence, and we have to get in and tell a huge story in 4 days or something. And with that, we have to essentially cast actors to play these roles. But with this video, and because I'm local and we can chip away at it over time, these are real people. Like, we track down kind of the quintessential character that's already living this role, and we just essentially capture their life and thread it into the piece. And I think that's maybe where the layer of authenticity comes from, is that nobody's an actor. These are literally just community members that have made it their life's work to, you know, do what they do here in the Wenatchee Valley.
Right. Well, I could talk with both of you for the rest of the morning, because this is such fun work that you're doing, a really important work as well. Before I let you go, is there any call to action? How can people continue to participate and support our community, support spreading awareness about how great it is to live and work here? Any food for thought for the audience to think on?
Well, I'd invite everyone to either join, you know, the opportunity to visit our website, so Wenatchee.org, or visit Wenatchee.org and learn about what we're doing at the Chamber. We're always looking to partner with business owners and community members. We're the front door for the community. Just, you know, we field calls from, you know, where's the best place to take my dog for a veterinarian visit, to, you know, what's happening with a local festival, or, you know, so we're here to serve the community, even though we have a focus and a commitment to our business community, but we're a greater resource. If you have visitors coming to see you and you haven't been down to the visitor center, we'd invite you to come down and
check out that
connect.
tasting.
Absolutely, and just come and see all the products that are created. You know, We Are Wenatchee is a product that was created for the community to be used by the community. So if you're a local business owner and you're doing recruitment and you would like to utilize that in your recruitment, you can send them directly to the website because it's posted on there, but we also work with companies to be able to send it out in a way that is friendly and is connected to their companies. Confluence does it, the PUD does it, there's other large employers that utilize that for us. So, you know, really it's how can we help you be successful and continue to help this community grow. That's what the Chamber's about, and we'd love for you to visit us at Wenatchee.org or give us a call at 662-2116.
And Charlie, Vortex Productions?
Not so much for Vortex Productions specifically, but I guess I'd kind of just encourage our community to continue to be passionate about the things that they're doing here. And I mean, that's where the success of all of this comes from. And Wenatchee is extremely accommodating for people pursuing their passion and their skill set. And,
so I'm going to give him a plug because he has a new arm of his company, which is what, Vortex Journey?
Vortex Journeys, yeah, we're doing photo video workshops and
so
classes.
So if you love that and wish
sort.
you could do that,
yeah, sorry.
come learn from the guy. This is the chamber director in me helping you out.
You.
Yeah. But that's amazing work and awesome that he's taken his skills and wanting to share it with other folks that are interested and want to do
Thank
it.
you.
It's a really cool new division of his company that he's starting, which is a huge benefit to us in the region.
So check out Vortex Productions, Vortex Journeys. I think you'll often see both of these two down, whether it's at the Chamber, at Pybus Market, and connecting with our
Following Jenny
community.
around with GWATA.
So thanks for joining us on there,
Thank
and
you.
I want to thank you, the audience, for joining GWATA TV. It was a great episode, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Absolutely.
Since 1999, GWATA has served as North Central Washington's Tech Alliance. As a 501c3, our mission is to bring people and technology resources together to create a thriving community. Through our work, we aim to inspire, engage, and connect.